Welcome back to part 2 of last week's episode. Let's go.
But how I am is like, I want to study everything.
I was the same way. I remember when I was studying for the MCAT, I grabbed Blueprint, Princeton, UWorld,
and everything. Yeah, because I remember you were using UWorld. I was like, I use that. And then for me, YouTube, because I'm a visual learner. That's what I'm saying. Know yourself. What works for Jasmine may not work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine's good with writing notes and everything. I'm practicing, but I know that's not my strong suit. Just making nice.
I'm starting
nice
to make
notes.
like diagrams. I think that's fun and
Yeah.
visualizing things.
Exactly. So me, I'm a visual learner. So that's why I went to YouTube and Simple Nursing, Nurse Sarah the RN. Those are like my top tier people. But then there are other people on YouTube that I love where they would do like practice questions, and I enjoy looking at those videos because they would ask questions that I didn't even think about asking or even reviewing. Like I'll review like the stuff on UWorld, but they'll ask like a different
or in a different way. Where you're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way,
and they'll literally break it down. So to me, YouTube University is top tier because they have they have everything on there.
And also, I listen to a podcast. Her name is Straight Nursing, and that helped me a lot because I like more like acronyms because then I'll remember.
Yep.
And then she gives a lot of acronyms, and at the end, literally, I would drive. You guys know I drive a lot. Like I like 2 hours, and at the end of the session, whatever we talked about, she's like, "Okay, pop quiz," and then she would ask, and I'm like, "It's this," and then I'll get it right, and then I'm like, "Okay, it's because assessing your knowledge that even though if I listen." After I listen an hour or two, did I really actively listening, or was I just listening just because, you know? And then also I like the YouTube channel that you mentioned, which was RN.
Oh, Sarah RN or the RN.
I've actually seen her too.
Yeah, she's always, my name is Sarah RN.
Yeah, I've seen her too.
Yeah.
Because they also have, I think it's her, the one that has like quizzes that you could go.
Probably, yeah. You click the link or somewhere and you
then,
go elsewhere.
Yes,
I watched her for my EMT
because I watched a lot of her videos, especially for the antidotes for the medications. And then I would take the quiz, and I'm like, okay, let's say like I got 100, and I'm like, okay, I really got it, because some of the antidotes are like kind of hard to remember.
It's a lot of stuff to remember.
It's just a lot of material.
Yeah. So the podcast was good for me because of the acronyms, because I'm very like, let's say Linda tells me a story about this medication that this happened, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Linda telling me this, and then that's how I
connect them.
Yeah.
What was the podcast again?
I think it's Straight A Nursing.
Okay.
We'll like link it to,
and we'll link we'll link all of the
And another podcast that I didn't use but my classmates used was like NCLEX High Yields or something like that, where he literally will break down everything, give you test questions and break down everything. I listened to like one topic, but I was already studying from a bunch of material, so I didn't use that one, but they spoke highly of him.
Okay.
And also I found out because when Linda, you mentioned that you will look at YouTube videos of how people study for the NCLEX. So I did the same thing, but I did it in TikTok. And then there is this RN in TikTok that she does like lives, and she does, oh my god, what's the name of the game? Starts with the K. No, it's like a game that you like do through your phone, and they give you questions.
We use that in class too.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then like she does that. She does those lives, but she also does TikTok videos, and then. Those would like, I will go to her page and I will do practice questions, and then she'll be like, well, the question, I don't know, it's like she'll do the questions and she will do the answers, but she will tell you why. It's not A because it's not that. It's not B because it's not that. It's D because blah, blah, blah. Like she'll tell you. And that helped me a lot just to have more practice, because I feel like at the end, for me, you do kind of run out of questions to like practice. Like I was starting to freak out. I'm like, I don't know where to get questions, and then I got them from TikTok, and I will link it in the description of the video, but that helped me a lot as well. And I will send it to my study group members like, oh look, like these are like good practice questions that we could have for the NCLEX.
So how long did you give yourself to study, and do you feel like that was more than enough time for yourself?
So I took the HESI on November, and I gave myself a little bit of a break because I felt like I was just like doing too much.
On the go.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
She's trying to get there for the NCLEX, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
She's
but
getting there.
Yeah. So I gave
Okay.
myself like a few weeks, and then I picked it back up again around November, like the end of November, and then I started studying for the NCLEX then.
And when did you take it?
And then I took it on February 27th.
So you're basically saying, because you said end of November, so around December, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, December to February?
Yes. But it was like 24/7. I don't even remember that I don't think I went out at
Probably
all.
not. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I don't think I went out. It was just like I was just focused on just studying. I miss birthday parties. I miss a lot of stuff. But
You have to sacrifice.
like my group of friends knew, like they knew, like
Yeah, we're
I'm
like,
studying.
who's Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I gave myself 2 months, but 1 month is when I was actually like focused. And the reason why I say 2 months, because I was still waiting, like in December, I was still waiting to get my number to sign up, to be able to sign up for the NCLEX. And for me, it's like, if I don't have a hard date, like my brain wasn't like working to focus. Like I would review here and there for that 1 month. And then once I got my actual test date, I signed up. I gave myself a month out to sign up, and I went hard studying like day and night. I may give myself like 1 day on the weekend or something for myself, but it was literally day and night studying, different coffee shops, study groups. I didn't solely study with groups. I would like switch it up. Like for me, I enjoy studying with
I think
groups,
that's important.
but then I get a lot of time. Like I get more out of it in a sense when I'm studying by myself.
I think that studying in groups is only really good if you are kind of in a better space with your material. Like if you're not there yet in your understanding, you can't expect to go and study with a group and then have them explain it to you. Like you have to be pretty, I think, knowledgeable already to work with a group.
Yeah, because my study group members, they took it before me. So at the end, I was studying by myself because I was the last one who took it. Yeah. And then also, I think because I think I'm like you, Linda. Like if I don't have a day, I'm like, oh, whatever. I have all the time in the world. But because I had to travel to Colombia, I only had one chance. Like that's how I viewed it. I'm like, I have this one chance.
Like I'm gonna
That's how I was too.
Yeah.
I had that one chance because I didn't want to take the new gen, because everything, all my studying like throughout the years, it was for the older generation. So I'm like, I only have this one chance to pass.
Because then you had to take the new generation.
I didn't know anything about
the
new gen.
I would have been scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah.
This is like a little funny because you even study with me, but know yourself and know the group. So I had a great study group, right? But this is my girl, my home girl. I'm not gonna say no names. She at this point was confident in her passing the NCLEX. So she was kind of in a sense done with studying. I think she maybe had like a week until she was gonna take the test. When I tell you, this girl talked the whole time during our study session about everything but study. We're looking at her, I was like, you're confident. I'm not there yet. Let me study. But the whole time she was literally talking our ears off. We're just staring at her. But she is so sweet. But it's like, girl,
I may not pass. Okay.
I'm like, you know all of this. Like she knew her stuff. Yeah. Like she was so smart. But I was like, I am not there yet. Like let me get there before we even go anywhere else.
Yeah. That's why you have to know, like, if you're able to work with the group at a certain time too, you know?
Yeah, like know when to step away.
Yeah.
So that way you could focus on what you need to, like the gaps that you need to fill in.
Exactly.
Okay. So, how was the NCLEX for you?
It's like a mental thing that I have that I'm.
She's like, I blocked it out.
Like I'm slowly trying to get past by. Because I always get scared, because in medicine, you guys know they use a lot of words that sometimes I don't know, because English is my second language.
Girl, it's my second, well, it's technically my second first, but I still don't know words.
And then I always I get so scared because I'm like, what happened if these words come? I can't ask nobody. I can ask Google. Like I'm there on my own. So the whole NCLEX thing for me, it was really stressful because of the language part, but also it was stressful because, like I said, I put it in my head like I have this one chance, and also the process was super. Well, for me, I feel like it was super complicated because I was so scared that I would click the wrong thing.
It's all in your head.
So basically, because you have it's all in my head. Basically, you have to put your information, and then you have to put the school code, and then you have to be specific on what test are you taking, because there's a lot of like LVNs and like a lot of tests that you can take.
Like as you're about to start the exam.
No. This is like for you to sign up to register for the exam. Yes. And then you have to put the code. You have to put the what test are you going to take, and then you have to wait until your school sends like basically everything, or like that they took all the prerequisites in order for you to take that test.
Got it. Okay.
And then once you get that code, then you could go and sign up for the test.
Okay.
But so it was a lot of like little things that I have to click. I'm not tech savvy, like as you guys know. So I was like, oh my god, I'm like, I hope I'm clicking the right. And then we did it all with the study group as well.
So registering for the exam was stressful.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I did not want it to click the wrong thing or sign up for the wrong exam.
I will tell you this, when I signed up for the MCAT too, I was like, what do I do?
Did you feel like you were double checking?
I felt so dumb.
Like I was like triple checking. I'm like, did I click this? Yes.
You want to know how dumb I felt? Like I had to call my friends who had already registered and be like, am I doing this right?
No, and here's the thing, and you're gonna laugh about it, that our like coordinator for the program, she sent us like a whole PowerPoint slide on how to do it.
Yeah, literally step by step.
And I was still freaking out.
I would still freak out too,
That's
even if I had the
shaking my head.
No, I would still freak out too.
Not only did she send a PowerPoint, we had a live Zoom session where she went over the PowerPoint and then sent the PowerPoint to us.
Well,
it was like something that was off. I don't know if she corrected it by the time you got there, but it was like something. She was like, oh, this is not relevant anymore. I need to switch this out.
No, the thing is that I went to the live stream and she said she was going to send the PowerPoint, but she never sent the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it was not that. It's only, like, don't look at me like that. It's only a click away. Hey, can you send the PowerPoint? That takes less than 5 minutes.
We sent her a message. She didn't answer, Linda.
Yeah, but you weren't waiting a week. You maybe waited like a day for her to send it.
I don't know. She did.
It was not that long.
I'm over here like,
it did not take that long for her to send it.
We did it as a study.
Like y'all over here acting like she sent it 5 months later.
We did it as a group.
That's what's wrong with the university and these students in the universities complain about everything.
Whatever. We did it as a group.
I don't think she complained. I think she was just more like struggling.
Yeah,
she was stressed. I mean, like more so her stress is like, oh my god, I need the
because I didn't
anxiety.
I didn't want to like click the wrong thing or pay for the wrong thing because you have to pay for it.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I think just the fact that it's a big test made you nervous and gave you anxiety, and then everything about it gave you anxiety. Signing up, taking it, preparing. That's what happens.
And then I started to get more nervous because people like in my study group were getting the code for them to like sign up for the test.
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
Yeah, she was blowing on my phone. Oh my god, Linda, my classmate got their code. My class was like, it all depends on when they submitted their stuff and when you submitted your stuff. It'll come. Like, calm down. Like,
but I was
calm there. Calm there. Like, come on, you over here stressing me out for no reason. Like, calm down. You'll get your code. If he did everything correct, you'll get yours.
That's the thing, though. She's like, I don't know if I did.
I know. One thing I will point out is like what a lot of people, not a lot of people in my cohort, but it was like a few. If you're a felon or have like some type of record, make sure you get that stuff cleared up because you're not going to be able to sign up for the test. You got to get that cleared up.
Misdemeanors too?
Like, yeah, misdemeanors. You can't have that on your record. You have to get that cleared up in order to sign up. And also, I think you experienced this where the name on your ID didn't match your birth certificate. You have to make sure all of that stuff matches up because that, if it doesn't, it'll delay your process of you signing up.
I did want to say something. So when you do sign up for these exams, I think NCLEX, MCAT, whatever.
Because we take it at the same place.
Pearson. Yeah, you have to make sure that the name that you put to register matches identically your ID. Yeah. Because if not, you will not be allowed to take the exam.
Yeah. Because a lot of people have like the 2 last names. Yeah, I know it's like a lot of Hispanics and Latinos. They have both their parents, their mom's last name, and the dad's. Like they hyphenate it.
Girl, I almost missed a flight because of that.
Yeah, see, so make sure you use one last name all your life, or make sure when you do sign up, you're using both, or however it works, because you don't want that to delay you.
Yeah, you will not be able to take the test.
You'll be crying because you want to just get.
I was literally about to cry.
I would have cried.
Yeah.
Good thing I only have one last name. And make sure the spelling is right as well. Because you'll be screwed.
Yep, so the signing up was stressful for me. But then...
Yeah, for both y'all.
But then, as the day was getting closer... so I was even thinking because... So I live in Pittsburgh, and the testing site where I signed up to take it was Oakland. And
was that the nearest one, or why did you choose that one? Just wondering, being nosy.
Because it was like the one that was available. Because when you go to sign up, there is different testing sites, and some of them have those days available, some of them don't. And then it had 8 a.m. It was the first thing that I saw. It was the first thing that I grabbed because I was desperate because the slots were like filling.
Yeah, they fill up fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took the 8 a.m. one. And then I started thinking, because in the morning from Pittsburgh to Oakland, it's a lot of traffic. So I'm like, oh my God, did I give myself enough time? Like, what about if I get a lot of traffic? Should I wake up at 4 a.m.? What do I do? So then Linda was like, you should do the afternoon.
Yeah, because that's too much stress.
That's a lot.
I'm like, no.
That's a lot.
That was not.
That's a lot.
And then because I needed to study like basically the whole day. And then some days, my kid gets out of daycare at noon, so I would drive to Tracy. And one day I was in Tracy, and I was like in this coffee shop, and I'm like, let me look if there is because the testing day was like coming soon, but I'm like, let me see if I could move it to the afternoon. Open it up, boom, it's afternoon. I'm like, I'm gonna take it. I thought I did. Everything looked like I did. But then...
Don't tell me about these same people. Okay, finish your story. I'm curious.
I was like, the day before the test, I'm like, the day or 2 days before the test. A few days before the test, I checked. I'm like, let me double check that I got the afternoon. Come to find out, no, girl, you're still signed up for the morning.
And she didn't finish the process or something.
I do that all the time.
I gotta get a confirmation number, something. If you don't get a confirmation number, you ain't complete it.
At least you notice, because imagine you don't come and you're like, oh yeah, my exam is until
you would have missed it.
You would have missed it.
You would have missed it.
No. She would have showed up to the second.
Like, I'm ready. They're looking at you like, girl,
my name is Catherine, blah, blah, blah. I'm here for the exam.
Like,
you're not on the list, girl.
Yeah, you don't have to spend another $500, $600 to take it.
No. So, I told Carlos, Carlos was like, well, go drop you off. And I'm like, no, because then who's going to drop Diego off for daycare? So then my dad was like, I'll drop you off. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. So because they know that, like, if I drove, I was going to be stressing out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, parking and everything.
So then they're like, no. You need to be, like, as less stress-free as possible.
Yeah, let me add on to the importance of choosing your test time that works around yourself. Because if you're not a morning person, if you're a person who wakes up normally at 10 a.m., don't schedule for an exam at 8 a.m. because it's like just functionally and how your mind works. You're not going to be at your best potential.
You're going to be groggy.
Yes,
you're going to be
tired. Just everything. For me, it's like, though I'm a morning person, but my morning is 8 a.m. I'm not waking up earlier at 6 a.m. Like 8 a.m. I have some energy. But I took my test. I signed up for my test at 1. I didn't want to do 8 a.m. because I knew I wanted to just naturally wake up at 8 a.m., have breakfast, take my morning shit. Because if I wake up earlier, if I have to be somewhere at 8, my stomach hasn't digested.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go to the bathroom. So I wanted to be at peace when I took my exam. So that's like 1 a.m. was perfect for me.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Choose what works good with your body.
Yeah. I think there's later times, but for me, 1 a.m., 1 p.m. was good enough because anything later I would have been too tired. Anything earlier I would have been way too tired. So
no, for me, I chose early because I don't know, like early I could do.
You didn't want to be anxious.
And then in the afternoon, the whole day, and then in the afternoon I start getting sleepy.
I do too. My brain stops working.
Yeah.
But I could see your test site was like down the street from you. Like you
Yeah.
had to
Oh, yeah.
traffic,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Like no.
Yeah.
No.
So I messed up. But yeah, so like picking up the test site and everything, it's always I feel like it's always good that if it's near your house. Near my house, it was just the Oakland site. But
Girl, that was not near.
I mean, in
Yeah.
comparison to the other testing sites, because the other ones were the city
Yeah.
and Backville. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
those were the closest?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So and then also I feel like planning is always good. Like planning in what aspect? Like I was able to plan who was going. Like, okay, my kid's gonna be in daycare. Check that off. Somebody's gonna take me. Check the parking off. Like, you know, just the least stressors that you have the day of the exam.
Agreed.
Ideally, because as you guys know, it did not went ideally because I got sick. But ideally,
But
would help.
if you don't have no one to drive you to the exam, they do have a parking lot. Well, the Oakland location.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
about
do.
the other. They do have a
They
parking
do.
lot. And for me, it was easy to find parking.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I was like you when I took my exam there, because I took it at the same... I took my MCAT at the same location they took their NCLEX. I was like, I'm not driving. I want someone to drop me off. I think I Ubered one time, too, because I was just like, I don't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because it's just like, I don't know, like I was just thinking it's Oakland, you'll never know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to find parking. So, yeah, that was for me, NCLEX. How was that for you, Linda? NCLEX. Like, just the whole NCLEX part.
The process leading up to it or the NCLEX to itself?
No, leading up to it.
Leading up to it, it was straightforward. I got my exam date finally. To me, the most stressful part was waiting on the school to submit our last grades, because I think community health was the last grade that we needed for them to submit in order to get the BRN number to sign up. So that was the most stressful, waiting for the school to submit everything, because that delayed us. So once that was submitted, and then that kind of like lined up everything, meaning like I knew my test date, I knew how much time I needed to put in the study. Signing up for the NCLEX was straightforward because I had the PowerPoint. There was only one part that was confusing, but I sent her an email and like got that fixed that. But it was straightforward for me.
I would say signing up was a little bit difficult, like in terms of on the website for my MCAT. And then I think when you're actually taking the test, there was things I didn't know, like going into the Pearson facility, like certain rules.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a conversation about
yeah.
that. That was different. But the actual test itself. So we can make it focus on the NCLEX. How was you taking the NCLEX? Did you feel that what you studied helped you when you took the test?
Like, was it representative of the exam?
Yeah.
So when I went inside the exam, all I had in my brain was safety, safety, safety. Like, okay, do whatever doesn't kill your patient. Because when it came, like, I don't know, I thought like maybe, I don't know, a question that I studied, because I studied so many questions, maybe one might pop up. I thought. But no, none of the questions that I study, and I study a lot, none of them popped out in the real NCLEX. And a lot of the material, like, is basically like what you know is what you know, but it's just the way that they ask these questions.
It's
like,
different.
like I feel like you cannot breeze through this exam. Like, you have to read the question. I read the questions like 2 to 3 times, because first of all, as you guys know, I was falling asleep. And and I was just going through A, B, C, and D. And then like I was like, okay, it's not A, okay, it's not B. And then once I cross it, I would not go back to it, because then you start spiraling.
Yeah.
And then it's just when you might choose the wrong answer. And then honestly, guys, I thought I was going to do the whole 150, whatever, the whole amount of the questions.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 85 to 150.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, the 150. I'm like, Catherine, you're going to be sitting here for 150 questions. And that is that. And you're going to be okay. And you're going to, like, I was trying to calm myself down, because I was already psyching myself out, because I took the readiness exam for Usher and they told me I wasn't going to pass. So I'm like, I'm going to fail. Or I'm going to take the whole, like, 150 questions. So going through the exam is just the wording, because it's the same material that you study. It's just the wording of the questions that might trip you off. And that was like, that was it for me. Like, just the wording of the questions is gonna trip you off, and you have to go in thinking a certain way. What do I mean by that? Thinking about safety, thinking about delegation, thinking about like just this
your medications,
yes, your
and what it
medications,
does and what medication needs to be given.
Yes, thinking about if you drink certain type of juice, like I think it was grape juice with like this medication is not going to work. Like, just thinking about these things, just the main themes, then you're gonna be able to work out the question. That's how I felt about it.
When you were thinking of like everything through, like, did you have a paper you were writing on to kind of like guide you around, or like was everything mental? Just wondering.
So they give you like a marker and like a board.
Yeah,
that you
whiteboard.
could, yes. And then I remembered like they give you like noise canceling headphones.
No, I was just wondering. So you were able to. Okay.
So you're able to like do A, B, C, and D.
I know. I'm like, at least somebody can. I was like, y'all stressing me out so much in this episode.
No, I just was wondering what her thought process was, if she wrote it down.
No, I knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, I just wrote the choices. I didn't write the whole thing. I just A, B, C, D, cancel A, cancel B, and then keep moving forward, because you also have to think about your being time.
Yeah.
And if I have to go to the bathroom, like really, really bad, like that takes out from my.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to waste time. Yeah. Basically.
And when you're taking in the exam, it's an adaptive. So meaning adaptive is like, they'll go based off like what you understand and how well you're doing. So if you do great, or if you're doing good, you know, you'll click go next. They may ask you a similar question but harder, just to test to see, you know, if you know it. And sometimes they throw in things that they don't expect you to know, but see if you're able to answer it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I don't know if you were able to feel it, but I felt myself going up and down. Like, they'll ask me like a super hard question. Maybe I got that question wrong, so they went back down a little bit. I'm like, oh, I know this one, and it'll go back up a little bit.
I felt like it was just getting harder and harder.
Can I say something? When I took my MCAT, I was like, I don't know this.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not my MCAT, the EMT one. I was like, I don't know this, and I was like, I've never seen this, and I was like, I would guess. I thought I was failing because I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything.
Literally everyone. Literally, like I said, last episode. Dumb. Yeah, the people I talked to, they said they felt like they were guessing the whole time.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
At the end, that's how I felt, and I was like, and then it came to the 84th question, and I'm like, oh Lord. And then it comes to the 85, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the 86. It doesn't come. I'm like, I failed. Like, this is it. I got out of the testing side, and I went outside and cried, because I really, really thought I failed.
Yeah.
And then I texted Linda. Here comes Linda. You're so smart. I'm like, no, bro, I failed. Like, she's like, you finished at the 85, and I'm like, no, I failed. Like, I have a feeling I failed, and I was crying, and I would call I called my dad, I called my fiance, I called my brother, I called Linda. No, I didn't call Linda. I texted because Linda, I think you're in clinicals.
Probably.
And then
somewhere.
Yeah. And then everybody was like, why are you crying? I'm like, because I failed. Like, you don't understand. I failed. Then they were like, how do you know? I'm like, because I finished at 85. And came to find out days later I passed. Yeah. But it was just, like, it just, I've never heard the first person that says, I passed.
That was like
when you come. Yeah. Like, I have friends that took the LVN exam, friends that took the NCLEX, and literally nobody said like, oh yeah, I feel like I passed. No.
Yeah. And what they also do for the NCLEX, you may be one of the 10% that they were like, oh, even if you're doing well, you may be one of the 10% where they want you to take the whole exam as well. Just to, I read somewhere, watch it on YouTube where they'll give you, so you can take the whole exam. Even if you're doing well, but they still want you to take the whole exam. So, look, I still passed.
Sure.
I definitely still passed.
Sorry, I was just getting her back for.
But thank you.
But I feel like I said, I feel like I took 65 questions. Like, it was forever.
How did you feel? Did you feel like you didn't know anything?
Yeah, the whole time I felt like I was guessing. And I got that from everyone that I talked to. They were like, oh my gosh, I feel like I didn't pass, you know, and then they found out that they did pass. Maybe if you feel like you passed, maybe you should be worried. And then a lot of people, what they would do is like the Pearson VUE trick. If you don't know what that is, so basically the Pearson VUE, that's where you register for the NCLEX. So if you don't want to wait 3 days, I think you have to wait 3 days to get your exam
Y'all are lucky.
results. You can do the trick. I wonder if it works for you.
Girl, I know you. No, there's no pass fail thing.
Oh, just your numbers.
There's a rank. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
You have to wait a month.
Yeah, you do have to wait a month. Anyway, so that would suck. A month?
I can't even see myself waiting for a month.
That would give me anxiety the whole time.
I would throw up.
Well, with the Pearson VUE trick, if you're testing, I guess just for the NCLEX, is that after your exam, you maybe wait 4 or 5 hours and you go back in to sign up for the exam again. So you go in, do everything you did prior, like when you first signed up for the exam. If you're allowed to sign up for the exam and you go and you put your payment in and it processed, that means you failed. If you do all of that, you go in, put all your information, and it says, sorry, unable to sign up, that usually means you passed. And I heard that's like 90% accurate. So
Linda told me to do that, but I was so scared. I'm like, hell no, I'm just gonna.
I think I did it the same way. But even then, I still didn't feel comfortable until I got that confirmation email saying,
of course.
You passed.
You're like, there's a glitch in the system.
It's definitely a glitch.
Definitely did not feel confident.
Yeah.
It humbles you a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I feel like. The NCLEX humbles you.
It humbles you a lot.
Thanks for listening to this episode of PD3 with your hosts Linda, Jasmine, and Kathy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe at a potent dose of 3 so that you never miss an episode and your weekly dose.